Chapter 3, Betty. The cops and detective moved through Maple Grove quickly. Too quickly for a place that ran at half speed. "Nobody moves," the junior officer said with more John Wayne than the situation called for. "You're all suspects." The detective looked at him and shook his head in condemnation. No one complied anyway. The community members ambled from spot to spot, as they always did. Eleanor and Frank didn't move from the sofa. Best seats in the house. Eleanor leaned forward, hands folded over her cane. She loved a good detective show. "Here we go," she said. Frank nodded. Act 3. The detective pointed down the hall. "That room?" "Yes," the director said. "The supply room. Anyone go in there after the discovery?" "No, sir," she answered quickly. "We told everyone to stay clear." Frank leaned toward Eleanor. "That's not true." "No," Eleanor agreed. "It never is." The officers snapped on their blue nitrile investigation gloves, fitted plastic shoe covers, and disappeared down the hall. The detective clicked on a handheld flashlight, stepped into the room, crouched over the body, and began his methodical observations with a number 2 pencil pulled from behind his ear. The senior center held its breath, except for Eleanor. She had watched too many crime dramas to sit still. She stood. Frank followed without asking. They crossed the room slowly, moving past the center's staff pretending to work and residents pretending not to stare. "Hi, Betty." Betty flinched. "Oh, Mrs. Price, you startled me." "You're still holding those folders." Betty looked down at them, then up as though she had just woken. "So I am. I should put them away." Eleanor took one step closer. "No, you shouldn't." Betty blinked. Frank spoke quietly, pointing at the stack. "You had those with you in the hall this morning." Betty's grip tightened. "Yes. And into the storage room," Eleanor added. Betty gave a quick head shake. Eleanor didn't press. She waited. Silence has a way of doing the work for you. Renee's voice appeared from behind them. "She's upset, Eleanor." Frank turned. "So are you." Renee didn't respond. Eleanor turned back to Betty. "Are these files important for you today?" "No, it's just paperwork." "Paperwork you took into the supply room with Harold after leaving lunch?" Betty shook her head, "No." Eleanor shook hers, yes. Betty's eyes moved to Renee, then away. Eleanor caught the look between them. That allowed her just a small, private smile. "There it is," she said to herself. Renee stepped forward. "All right, then. That's enough, Miss Price. It's been a terrible day. There's no need to heap more on." Eleanor didn't move. Betty's hands had begun to shake. Eleanor softened her voice. "Betty, what did he want?" Betty closed her eyes. "The file." Renee went still. Frank nodded once. "Of course he did," Frank said. "Which file?" Eleanor asked. Betty opened her eyes, hesitated, looked down at the stack, and slowly pulled one free. A blue paper folder, more handled than the others, the stiff tab now dog-eared. Harold Benton was written across it in heavy black marker. Frank gave a low whistle. "What is that?" Renee's voice was sharper now. "It's a complaint file," Betty said, not looking up. The word settled in the air. From whom? Eleanor asked. Someone who used to work here. What kind of complaint? Renee asked. Betty's voice dropped. The kind you hold on to so it doesn't disappear when someone crosses a line. When I heard him at trivia this morning, Frank muttered. He sounded like a man who couldn't recognize a line if he tripped over it. How far did he cross? Eleanor asked. Betty was still. How far? Eleanor repeated. He asked her to stay quiet. About what? Betty's voice trembled. Money? Down the hall, one of the officers said something about lemon pledge. From the center? Eleanor asked. No, from a resident. Frank nodded slowly. Now we have a story. Renee's voice came like a cross-examination. You're lying. No. Show me. Betty pulled the folder closer to her chest. No. Eleanor stepped in. When did he see this file? This morning. So he knew you had this file, Eleanor said, and wanted to speak with you about it. Betty nodded. He told me to meet him. The storage room, Frank said. Betty nodded again. What did he want? Eleanor asked. The file. And then? He grabbed me. Betty's hand rose to her forearm as though she still felt it. The others followed her gesture. He wouldn't let go. I asked him to. He wouldn't. She paused. I pulled free. Renee spoke quickly, and she left the room. Eleanor raised her eyes to Renee. You saw it? No. I saw Betty at the counter getting applesauce. She looked upset. And then you went to the storage room, Eleanor said. I went to the storage room. Renee's voice came out flat.
I don't know about you, but the senior centers I've been to do not sound like this one. I mean, mystery and murder and, oh boy, maybe it goes on, who knows?